Let's go, Ducks.
Do it for me one time, Quack, Quack. Hello and welcome to On Tap Sports, the channel where we cover all the sports all the time, primarily college football and NFL football, and it is that time. Week 2 of college football, 12 noon kickoff here, Oregon at Ohio State. Ohio State a 14.5 point favorite. Over under is 63.5. Do I think they're going to cover? Do I think they're going to hit the over under? Let's see. Before I get into that, Michigan versus Washington, that video will be released tomorrow morning, so be on the lookout for that. And I know you Michigan fans are thinking, why is he doing so much Ohio State content? I've covered this before, but for the ones that haven't seen that, guys, I'm trying to make this a rivalry-centric college football channel. So the whole broad spectrum of college football, but really geared towards Michigan and Ohio State. And you saw that with my video the other day, how Ohio State and Michigan fans watch week 1 college football games. It's a comedy, kind of Scooter Magruder style. Really do consider checking that out. I think it's going to be some of my best content moving forward. It's funny, it's witty, I feel confident in it. Man, I'm really happy when I got done with that video at the end result. It'll be linked in the description below. Now let's get to the game. 5 keys to this game in order. This is what Ohio State needs to do to win this game. And if you're Oregon, I'm going to talk plenty about your players, about your staff, all that good stuff. So you basically just need to use your common sense here and you do the exact opposite of what I'm saying here. Everything I'm saying Ohio State needs to do here, you need to do the counterpart. Number 5 is Joe Moorhead. He is offensive coordinator at Oregon now. And plain and simple, you got to go back to the tapes. You obviously played against him when he was the OC at Penn State. Find out, if you're Ohio State, what you did well, what you didn't do well. Repair the things that you didn't do well and continue doing the things that you did. Habits continue to carry on. He's going to try to change some things, obviously, and not make it so obvious, but for the most part, at Mississippi State, at Penn State, and now at Oregon, you know what kind of attack he likes to run, real quick pace, RPO offense. That's what he likes to do, so utilize the games that you've already played against Morehead, against Joe Moorhead. Number 4, stop the Quack attack. Johnny Johnson III, Jaylon Redd, they both return for Oregon. Some very stout and experienced wide receivers, but Fresno State really limited these guys. Johnny Johnson only had 3 catches for 76 yards, 32 yards was his long, and Jaylon Redd only 1 catch for 13 yards. Anthony Brown struggled in this game as well. 15 of 24 for 172 yards, just 1 touchdown and 0 interceptions. He's going to have to make some third down conversions against Ohio State. He's going to have to make some plays with both his feet and his arm, and now he has to go on the road this time and do it. It's going to be really, really tough against that Ohio State defense. You need to stop the Quack attack the same way that Fresno State did. Don't let those experienced, fast, good receivers get loose, and you should be fine. Number 3, this is important. I almost put it at number 2. Stroud proud is what I'm going to call it. Fresno State had 30 rushes for 75 yards and 2.5 yards per carry. That is not very good. As a result, they really had to abandon the run. Now, I don't think Ohio State is going to have any trouble running the ball to that effect, but Oregon, that is definitely their strength, is stopping the run. And Fresno State's quarterback was able to do some damage by air against the Ducks. Now, you got CJ Stroud, he's the young buck, but here's what I got to say about this. If you're the Buckeyes coaching staff, you cannot be scared to let CJ Stroud do his thing. He struggled a little bit in terms of efficiency against Minnesota, but the guy is really, really good. And if you've seen anything in the past with guys like Jameis Winston, Tua Tagovailoa in the championship game against Georgia, Trevor Lawrence, when coaches let these guys fly and give them the chance and the spotlight, even as a young buck like that, no pun intended here in this case, they tend to do pretty well. Be proud of the guy. He's really, really good. Let him air it out. This is going to be a game where he may need to do that. He's going to have to make some plays with his arm, knowing that, because Oregon's going to try to stop the run. They're going to do everything they can to stop the run so that they can put the pressure on the young guy. And if you're Ohio State, you can't be scared to do that, to do just that and let them sling it. Number 2, you need to limit the big runs. You cannot let these guys for Oregon get in the open field and make some plays and take some pressure off of Anthony Brown at quarterback. There are very experienced runners in the Ducks backfield. In CJ Verdell, man, it feels like he's been there forever. He had 18 carries for 74 yards, 4.1 yards per carry against Fresno. And then you have Travis Dye, 13 for 64 last week, 4.9 6.9 yards per carry. Ohio State, I asked in the Minnesota reaction video, I agree with a lot of Ohio State fans that they shouldn't be too worried about their defensive line. They gave up 163 yards to Mo Ibrahim, but at the same time, he was limited to just 3.69 yards per carry outside of that one long run of 56. But you can't give that kind of stuff up to Oregon, or you're not going to want to, or you're not going to cover the spread, maybe even be in trouble of losing this game to some regard. I don't think you are, but you could be if you give up some of those big runs and some of those big plays. Oregon's got a lot of playmakers. I already went over Johnny Johnson and Jaylon Redd. They got these guys in Dye and Verdell. They can do some big things. Ohio State's going to want to limit those plays and really take them out of the ball game. They're on the road. Steal their soul early. That's what you want to do. The offensive line for Oregon returns. That's another thing that Buckeye fans said in the Minnesota reaction video. They said we're not going to face many offensive lines like Minnesota's. Well, Oregon is an offensive line like Minnesota's. Now, they lost Penei Sewell last year. He went to my Lions, but they're still very, very good. They returned the other 4 starters on the offensive line. Experienced group. They're going to be able to communicate well on the road at Ohio State. It's going to be loud there, obviously, but they should have no problem communicating with all that experience. The problem for me is going to be Anthony Brown if I'm an Oregon fan. He's going to concern me a little bit because everybody else is used to this kind of stuff. They're ready, man. It's just him and Penei Sewell's replacement, whoever that is. And the number one thing I think Ohio State needs to do if they want to win this football game, they need to know that speed kills. That Oregon secondary, as I mentioned, gave up 298 yards to the Fresno State quarterback. That was on 43 attempts. To put that into perspective, Stroud had 294 yards and 4 touchdowns on just 22 throws against Minnesota. So Ohio State, I mean, I'm going to say this almost every kind of video for Ohio State. You got to utilize Chris Olave, Garrett Wilson, Jackson Smith, and Jigba. Those guys are solid. And if I'm an Ohio State Buckeyes fan, I want to see a lot out of TreVeyon Henderson in the backfield. I think that what could happen here is that Oregon is going to try to put pressure on Stroud, as I mentioned, by limiting that deep ball and that attack. They're going to try to stop the run so that Stroud has to make some plays with his arm. And I think it could happen a lot where Stroud just dumps it off to Henderson and Henderson makes a play. Of course, he had that one catch for 70 yards against Minnesota for the touchdown. I think we could see a lot of that, a lot of Miyan Williams out the backfield possibly. I think these guys need to really utilize their speed. And you guys know I've been hard on Master Teague. I'm sorry, man. I know it. Master Teague, all the Buckeyes fans tell me that he's a good guy. And I'm just trying to talk football here, and I think a lot of you guys have agreed. Master Teague, you hate it for him, but he's just not necessarily that guy in the backfield. I think this is going to be the last time I mention that, though, because I don't want to really nail it home and annoy you guys with it. But yeah, you want to use your speed with Miyan Williams and TreVeyon Henderson. I think those guys out of the backfield could be huge in this game, in the slots and on the swing passes. Could be huge. They're going to be the forgotten number there, in my opinion. Fresno pass plays against Oregon. They had a 39-yarder, a 21, 17, 15, and 18-yard reception out of 5 different receivers. Those are the 5 receiver longs for that game. To put that into perspective, Ohio State had 61, 56, 70, and 15 against Minnesota. So 4 receivers had plays of 15 yards or more, and 3 receivers had plays of 56 yards or more. And this is where I say, again, speed kills. Because if Fresno State can do that against Oregon secondary and go deep, imagine what Ohio State can do. They should be able to take full advantage against that the same way they did against Minnesota in week 1. So, final score prediction for me is going to be Ohio State 38, Oregon 21. Let me know what you think about that score. Why do you think it's going to be whatever the score you predict is? Ohio State covers in my prediction, obviously. The under is going to hit at 59. I don't think 63.5 points or more are going to be hit, so we'll see. Obviously, Ohio State's capable of it, but Vegas is always going to be tight, so over-under, I'm not a betting man. This is an entertainment channel only, but I'd always be scared to pick over-under because you just don't know. It's tough. Betting's tough in general. That's what I got. That is my pick. Again, Michigan and Washington. Tomorrow, the preview for that. And then tomorrow night will be the college football picks. And I got a little bit of a comedic twist to that. I think you're going to want to see it. It's pretty funny. I'm really looking forward to it. We'll talk more about that in the Michigan preview. That's it. Hope you guys have a great day. Best of luck to both teams in this game, but mostly to Oregon. God bless, guys.